The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
Fellas, talk about the main event in the middleweight division for the middleweight championship. We had Dricus Du Plessis defeating Israel Adesanya by submission in the fourth round, face crank. Haymaker had DDP, and me and Steve both had Adesanya. So round one, I think both guys had their moments. I think Izzy had more volume, but I think DDP had the more powerful shots. I think Izzy won that round. Haymaker thought DDP won that round, but it's a moot point because the way the fight ended. Round two, I think Izzy was better on the feet, but DDP neutralized it with the grappling and got 3 takedowns and controlled the clinch. And he definitely won that round. Round three was a back and forth war. I think Izzy edged him out with the striking, but DDP did land some powerful shots and kept the round close. And then go to round four. Izzy controlled a lot of that round on the feet. Then deep in the round, DDP was able to rush him and caught him with that left hook. And then again with 2 right hands that floored him. And then he sank in that face crank, and it was over. And still, your undisputed middleweight champion, DDP, Dricus Du Plessis. What were your thoughts on this one, Admire?
Yeah, it was a good back and forth fight. I mean, they both had a lot of big moments in it. I felt like DDP won 1 and 2. I think Izzy was winning the last 2. I pulled the judges' scorecards and they were all over the place too, but they did have DDP winning up into round 4. There were so many moments in that fight. I seen DDP kind of just slow down, and I thought, okay, this is going to be the time that Izzy just 3 pieces him and he's done, and he just held on. But it was kind of the same way. There was a lot of moments where DDP had Izzy in trouble. I think they were both very tired by the end, and DDP was just able to get that last little run, that led up to the submission. So, I mean, I think it was a great fight,
Steve?
Yeah, it was a good fight. We always expect Izzy not to go to the ground a lot. He shooted very few times in a fight, but of course we didn't expect him. And then I think DDP loads him in to think it was going to be a stand-up fight and surprised him with takedown. I don't think he expected that, and added multiple layers to just a kickboxing fight. I was impressed of Du Plessis. Every time that it seemed like Izzy was trying to establish respect and power, he would automatically shoot off. Like Izzy would throw a leg kick, he would be back and forth, left-right hooks, very quick after the strike on Izzy to make sure Izzy was on his toes. And I think that frustrated Adesanya a lot. It wasn't intimidated, didn't sit there too much to get picked on as far as to be attacked. I think his kickboxing repertoire, I think it helped him a lot in this fight as far as his IQ and definitely adding that other dimension of takedown. I think that's what won him the fight.
Yeah, like both of y'all said, it was a good back and forth fight. Probably if it would have went to the 5th round, that probably would have been the deciding round if Admire was saying that DDP was up on the judges' scorecard. But I don't know. I feel like this has been a trend with Izzy. I mean, he just got dominated in the Strickland fight, but this happened with the first Pierre fight. I think he was winning like all of the rounds in that one, and then he had like a mental lapse and got knocked out. And this one, he had a mental lapse and got submitted. And then in the Strickland one, he just got dominated. So I guess that one's an outlier. But I don't know, is it a mental one or is he just tired that he like has chances to win these fights and just makes one mistake that causes him to fight? Admire.
I think it might be kind of a he gets tired towards the end. If you look at his losses, like the TKO from Alex was 5th round. Sean Strickland, it did go to a decision, but Izzy was kind of shut down towards the second half of the fight. The DDP fight, 4th round. So I think it's that he just kind of mentally gets exhausted, once he hits that certain point in the fight.
Yeah, definitely. Steve?
Yeah, definitely seems like it. He's sharp in the beginning. Seems like you can't get him. And I saw one of his clips. He said, he said that he didn't get caught. He slipped as far as that first before he fell down. I don't know about that.
I'm talking about in the 4th round.
Yeah, if that's the case, I mean, to me, they were tired and more likely you're able to slip. And like you said, it seems like in the fights that his chances are diminished to get a highlight knockout, and it's just a sparring match to him till something catches. And I don't think that style worked for him for what DDP was doing. To sit there and pick on your opponent, which he wasn't letting him do. I think that was literally the factor.
So you can't teach an old dog new tricks. So you think Izzy will be able to clean that up? Because it sounds like he's not done. Some people were speculating he might retire, win, lose, or draw. Well, like, what does he need to do to clean that up, Admire?
I'm wondering if he needs to go to like a sports psychiatrist or something, or change up camps, just do something different, not completely different, because, he made it to the belt. He made it to the big show. So there was something there, but he's going against these different guys that kind of seem to just have his number. So he needs to try something a little bit different. I think a lot of people have kind of learned now, what we just talked about. If you can drag him into deep waters, he might mentally break or kind of shut down. So he's got to switch something up.
Well, before I get to your stuff, Steve, I don't know if these guys necessarily have his number. He just keeps facing these different styles where he can't adapt to, like on the fly, like you see a John Jones does, because we see if he goes to a rematch, he'll probably beat you. He beat Alex Pereira in the rematch. I wouldn't be convinced that he would lose a rematch to both DDP and Strickland. So I think it's like in-fight adjustments is his problem, but I think rematch he'll probably be good. What are your thoughts, Steve?
I just I think there's more emphasis on people, especially when you're heavily marketed as a striker, to lose to striker, which means it means more to where your stock goes down as far as that area of your expertise. You would figure that Izzy would get nervous to these ground game guys, but we see that his losses aren't even from ground guys sometimes. And don't get me wrong, these are good, formidable people as far as strikers, but I think it's just gap. I mean, you figured that he would be learning on the way as far as his ground game, but we didn't even see him, try to mix it up or anything for real his past fights. I think his problem is his style. It's so ironic, calls himself style bender, but only has one style as far as his striking.
That's kind of true, which is ironic. But yeah. So DDP, it was like his style. It was impressive that even when he was tired, he was still able to come forward. I guess, yeah. I guess did Dana White already announce it? Is Strickland next?
Yep, it will be next.
And I'm guessing that's be probably next year, beginning next year. I don't know, man. DDP kind of gives me Leon Edwards vibes. Like, I'm not fully convinced that he's going to be some dominant champion that just runs through everybody. I still need to see more. So I guess this Strickland fight will tell a lot. I don't even know how that fight goes because it was so close to the first one. I don't know if I'm too excited to see the rematch, but it's going to happen. So what do you think? I guess we're going to predict it when it gets there, but early thoughts on that fight? You see it going the same way? Maybe Strickland figures out something, Admire?
Man, I don't know. Like their first fight, it was kind of boring. I mean, it looked pretty evenly matched, and just it didn't have everything that we thought it would be. And I agree with what you said. He kind of reminds me of a Leon Edwards type, but looking at his record, maybe it's a little bit different. He's got a submission over Izzy and Darren Till. He's got TKOs over Derek Brunson and Robert Whitaker. So, I mean, DDP is, getting people out of there, but I don't know. I don't know if he has, I don't know. He doesn't have that big, like, wow, this is the next superstar feeling.
At all. What are your thoughts, Steve?
Yeah, he doesn't have a dominant force ender. He's like almost, I could say almost comparable to a Volkanovski. He's not, doesn't win in a specific way, but he just gets the job done. And that's what I feel like DDP is.
Yeah, he's not great at one thing. He's just good at everything.
Mm-hmm. And nothing too overly, oh my God, you better watch out for his or this and that. He can do it, but I haven't seen enough to see if he has a dominant force in any part of the fighting game. I think he has an average and all, not average, but a good enough to be good to get the job done, to where, say, when Pierre was middleweight, you definitely have to look out for his left or his striking at that. That's what I think about him.
So we talked about DDP. Israel Adesanya sounds like he's not done. So where do you go with him after this, Admire?
Well, I mean, he's lost to DDP. He's lost to Strickland. I mean, you're going to have to run back some fights with some people that he's beat in the past.
I don't want to see him and Whitaker again, but
no.
You got Imavov. I don't want to see Cannonier again. That fight was horrible. Huh?
I don't know, man.
Not bad.
I mean, Izzy has a name that he can carry a card on his own. If I was him, I'd be looking for money fights. Move up to 205 or do some money fights at a catch weight, like a 195.
We saw what happened at 205. He's not big enough for that division. He'd be perfect for 195, but UFC doesn't have not 195, that super middleweight division. I know a lot of the regional has that division, but yeah, catchweight I guess wouldn't be bad. But
I mean, realistically, what he should do, he should wait and see what happens with Strickland and DDP. I don't think they're going to give Izzy a instant rematch. Coming off a loss to both of them, he's going to have to fight somebody. I would fight somebody way down the line just to say you got to win, and they can justify giving him another title shot. Put him in there against Paulo Costa again.
Nah, I don't want to see that fight, especially how the nonsense Costa. Why not put him against Imavov? I don't think he should wait. I think he should, get some reps in the cage, and I think the Imavov fight, I think it'd be bad stylistically for him, but
he's got to do something to get his confidence back somewhere, because like the pre-fight thing, he got real emotional. You could see he's an emotional guy, so this loss is probably hurting him a little bit. So he needs to do something to get that confidence back.
He did get emotional before the fight, but he didn't fight emotionally, which was surprise. But yeah, I don't know. What were you throwing him in there with, Steve?
It's very hard to say. As far as like Du Plessis?
No. Israel
Adesanya?
Yeah.
It's very hard to say because I think, of course, he still has his stardom. I think it's people may have started to lose faith in him to where he's probably going to have to risk somebody that he doesn't think that is worth his time. I would say anybody that's top 3. I mean, for real, he really can't be picky after that loss.
But I mean, if you look at the top 3 though, Strickland is going to be in the fight. He is number 2, and I don't know if you run that Whitaker fight back. He already beat him twice.
No. I say maybe you have to sit. I mean, dang, he just got done sitting, but I don't know. It's very hard considering
You got Nasruddin Imavov at number 4.
I guess he can entertain that.
I mean, that'd be his worst nightmare. That's a Dagestani.
Yeah.
This is mixed martial arts. You got to test your metal in there. Strickland beat Imavov.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But it's the thing about it is he, like you said, he does have his flaws down the stretch of a fight, but I don't think he has like a big glaring hole as far as the stand-up. I mean, his takedown defense is pretty good. I mean, when he does get taken down, I can see like he does have some working on as far as being able to get back up. I don't like how long he's down there when he gets taken down, so that's definitely something he can work on. But I don't know. I think he should get back in there for the MSG card. I don't think he took a lot of damage. He tapped out instantly. I was kind of taken aback by how fast he tapped out. It's saying it's a face crank. Maybe that's why. Because what was the fight? I don't know if it was on was it Hooker or was it on the preliminary card? It might have been Ramos. Like that rear naked choke was sunk in deep and he didn't tap out. He was able to fight. I don't know if it was Ramos. Mixed up some of the fights, but I'm guessing if it's a face crank, that's a different type of pressure. So I thought it was an RNC tapped out to Adesanya. I'm guessing it wasn't according to the results. Thank you for checking out this Haymaker Combat Sports segment. This full episode could be found on the Haymaker Combat Sports YouTube page and in audio form on all major podcast platforms. Until next time, peace.